Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fishin, the podcast where we discuss the ban list's most competitive tribe and help the whole community become better Merfolk players. I'm Kody, one of the co-hosts of the show, and not Kody Smith on Twitter. And as always, we have my co-host, Matt. How are you doing,
Matt? Surviving, doing well. As is the way of our podcast, the banned and restricted announcement came out, I guess, 2-3 weeks ago. Everybody's already talked about it. So we're going to do it super duper late.
Yeah, totally. That's really our speed is to do things, way after it's already been dead and gone. We're pulling these bodies out of the graveyard, and we're going to talk about them.
So the worst thing to do is to be part of the herd. I'd rather just straggle way behind and just not get eaten by predators and be part of that herd.
As long as we're fast,
a herd of one.
As long as we're faster than the slowest buffalo, then we're okay. That's where you want to be. We don't want to be way behind everybody, but just enough. So we'd like to
that should be on our shirt. Fishin, a Merfolk Podcast, slightly faster than the slowest buffalo.
New band name, I call it. We'd like to thank everybody for subscribing and listening. We've had so much growth on our YouTube channel and downloads. I think we actually have surpassed 10,000 downloads, which is pretty sweet.
That's about 999,000 more than I expected.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, we have a very narrow focus. So for those of you who have been downloading this show, you guys are awesome. You're the real
and
MVPs.
Drunk Fisherman, I'm really sorry.
yeah. They're like, I loaded up all 70 episodes of that Fishin podcast.
It's those damn nerds again.
Now we're going to the lake. So if you're this far in and you like us, but you're also a fisher, like an actual fisherman, then hey, you know what? Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate that. That's dedication.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter. We'll teach you the game.
Yeah. Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook is at FishcastMTG. You could also support us at patreon.com/FishcastMTG. You could buy one of our playmats, order our shirts at Inked Gaming. I've actually got a shirt on the way. There was a shipping error. I actually ordered my shirt from Inked Gaming over a month ago. And there was just a computer error, and so I actually had to hit Mitch up on Twitter, and who is fantastic and was on this very fine program, and he sorted it out. Everything went straight. So it's on its way. So I'll be able to comment on the quality and the excellence of the art from Ishtin, which is on that shirt. You can also get tokens from Cardamajig that have our logos and stuff on them. They're pretty sweet.
They're pretty dang awesome.
Yeah,
I use them.
I've definitely used them in the past, and they're just great. They're very cool, very awesome. Thank you, Ishtin, for doing that art.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes I like just having a few cocktails and giving them out on Twitter just for funsies.
Yeah, he actually does that, for real. I've seen him do it. He calls me on Skype and then starts drinking and then just handing them out on Twitter. It's very odd.
Everybody's got to have a hobby, bro.
Hey, and if that's what gets you through the night, man, go for it. So we did not have any new patrons this week. So thank you to all of our patrons, because you guys have been sticking through us, even though our inconsistent releases. You guys are awesome. Yes.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We're not going to go into it now, but there's been some stuff going on, some RL stuff. So
yeah, and real life does take precedence, and we appreciate y'all for supporting us in our darkest hour here at Fishin' a Merfolk Podcast. And I had Matt pick the random Merfolk, and this is probably the least connected to Merfolk card that I think we've ever gotten.
It's not going to take long.
No. Pauper All-Star. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a Pauper All-Star. It's Index.
Really?
It's Index, and it costs blue, and it's a sorcery. And it says, look at the top 5 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. And the flavor text is, let's see, Mercadia, Mercenary, Merfolk. I really need a better filing system. And that's it. The flavor text is longer than the rules text. So there we are.
And Merfolk was just there because they happen to be in the M's.
Yeah, in the flavor text, they happen to be in the M's, like right when they, when they captured this flavor text of this random dude. He looks like if Penn Jillette and Carrot Top had a baby.
No, it looks like the dude from Game of Thrones, the Wildling.
I've never
who's in love
watched
with
it.
Brianna Tarth.
I've never watched a Stranger Thrones.
Dun 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 dun.
It might have something to do with me not having HBO.
Dun 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 dun.
And the fact that we're talking about Game of Thrones shows how impactful this card is. I can't really see us ever using this card in Merfolk. It just feels bad.
I can't see you ever using this card in general.
Yeah, I really have no use for it personally.
Like, if it drew you a card, it would be sweet.
Yeah, scry 5 basically.
Yeah.
Scry 5 and then draw a card. Like that would be a sweet card.
Yeah. If this was at instant speed, you know what? It could be played in maybe the Miracles deck, but sorcery speed. Yeah, this is just hot garbage.
So you have to You have to cast Quicken and then Index, and then set up your miracle that way. That doesn't seem too bad.
Broke
For
it.
2 mana. For 2 mana, you set up your miracles. Like that's not terrible. But I'm not a miracles player, so I'll let the miracles players explain to me why that's a bad play. So, Matt, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about bans because we discussed that earlier.
Oh yeah, we did actually. So we're each picking a card in each format, Modern, Legacy, and Commander, a card that we think should come off the ban list, and a card that should be banned yesterday. So we're gonna start with Modern because that's kind of our stomping grounds, as it were. Matt, what do you want unbanned from the Modern ban list?
What do I want unbanned? There's actually quite a few cards on the ban list of Modern I think would be safe, but I'm going to go with one that actually doesn't get much love. Because, I mean, we know the few that people always talk about, but no one talks about Cloud Post.
Huh.
I think Cloud Post,
lands?
the Locust lands, I think Cloud Post and having Locust lands in Modern would be 100% fine.
Well, yeah, in Legacy, it's they do see play.
Yeah, but they see play also because you have a lot more of the broken cards to go with it, like the Grim Monoliths and things like that, and the Soul lands. So for those of you who don't know, Cloud Post is a colorless land, and it comes into play tapped. It has add 1 mana to your mana pool for each Locust in play. So the thing is, there's only 2 Locust cards. And I mean, you could play Vesuva and other cards like that to like mimic it. So, I mean, but realistically, it's still slower than Tron.
Well, yeah. So on turn 2, you still only have 2 mana.
Yeah. So in turn 3, you would have 6 mana.
Yeah. Which is just shy of Tron.
And that's if everything goes right.
Yeah. Well,
and that's if you draw only Cloud Posts, because the Glimmer Posts don't actually give you extra mana; they just give you extra life.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you run cards like Crop Rotation, to get your Locust lands out. But yeah, I could see this one being okay in Modern, honestly. I'm sure if we had like Johnny Crass back on the show, he could bend it over backwards in some fashion. But I don't see it.
Where this card is like really good is it has a great top end. So you would be seeing like Nulamog coming down a lot quicker. So Nulamog would come out quicker in this deck than it would in the Tron deck, more often than not. So I mean, it has its pros and cons, but realistically, I think this card would be 100% okay. And I think it would be not even played with the speed of the Modern format right now.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty quick.
I think it's stone cold unplayable right now.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Modern is very fast right now, and I honestly don't see... I could not see this being too big of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
what do you got?
I went with kind of a safe pick because I honestly think that this card could have been unbanned a long time ago, and it just hasn't been.
MTG Finance is going to be digging this one.
Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic.
Uh-oh, price
Yeah,
spikes are happening right now.
I don't think it would spike because of us. But Stoneforge Mystic is 1 in a white, in case you don't know. It is a core artificer, and it's a 1/2. And when Stoneforge Mystic enters the battlefield, you search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle your library. And then it also has 1 in a white tap. You can put an equipment card from your hand onto the battlefield. I just think that this is way too slow, and there's so much removal that this effect is cool, but not broken. I mean, we have Kolaghan's
it's not even a
command.
human.
Yeah, it's not even a human. We have like Kolaghan's command that destroys an artifact and deals 2 damage to a creature. There's lots of ways so that they could spend, basically 3 turns to get their Batter Skull into play, and then just have all of it gone. So I just don't think that this is
a braid.
Yeah, braid. Yeah, I mean, there's so many answers in Modern for what Stoneforge Mystic does, and I just don't think that it deserves the hate.
Yeah, so I mean, Stoneforge, go get your Batter Skull on turn 2. It's in your hand, then it gets bolted, and so it just sits in your hand. The Batter Skull sits in your hand until you've dropped a few more lands. I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah, no,
it is legit a nothing burger. I don't get it.
I don't either. All right, so now that we've talked about the cards the 2 cards that we personally would take off the ban list, are there any other ones that just pop up as oh, these ones could get unbanned and it would be fine?
I'd say Birthing Pod could definitely come off. What else? I'm just kind of running through the list real quick. Hypergenesis is probably fine.
I think Glimpse of Nature, honestly, because Elves is such a slower deck in Modern. I just don't think you could get the because I mean Glimpse is only played in Elves in Legacy. Yeah. So I just don't think that you could hit the creature density to make Glimpse of Nature busted. So I think it'd be fine.
Yeah, probably. And I mean, I'm gonna be with everybody else. Splinter Twin is 100% okay.
Oh yeah, I do not. I don't hate Splinter Twin like a lot of people do, but I think it's totally fine. And yeah,
and everything else is
keep punishing fire on the ban list, please, Watsy. Don't.
Yeah, punishing fire is the one this seems so unassuming. It should be fine, and then you play against it's oh no, what have we done?
Yeah, and yeah.
I think everything else is fine where it is.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the cards that we want to ban yesterday. What should be banned?
Why is Faithless looting still around?
I think you and half the internet has been asking that question.
Yeah, I'm gonna go basic. This is my pumpkin spice latte of picks today, but God, it's so bad. It's become the brainstorm of Modern, and it fuels the most degenerate, non-linear, solitaire decks in the format that are just miserable to play against. So essentially, you have to play your sideboard in your main deck because they become such a high percentage of the meta. I mean, we just saw that with Hogak. Now that Hogak's gone, we'll probably see Izzet Phoenix drive back up. Just Dredge in general. And then it's too good. And then the fact that it's flashback as well.
Yeah, no, you're not going to receive an argument from me about Faithless Looting being gone. For those of you at home, Faithless Looting costs red, and you draw 2 and discard 2, right?
Yeah, I think that's the order.
Yeah, and then it has flashback for 2 in a red, and so you draw 2 and discard 2 again. So for those graveyard decks, it just lets you fill your yard. It lets you put nice things in your graveyard like Gravecrawler and what's that one black creature that's a 2/1 that has the vampire.
Oh, Bloodghast. Bloodghast. Yeah.
And let's
or your Phoenix.
Or your Izzet Phoenix. It just puts it puts very specific cards in your graveyard, and the decks that care about that sort of thing have a lot of choices. So
Reanimator decks use it.
Yeah, Reanimator decks use it in Legacy. I just think that Faithless Looting
Delve decks use it.
Yeah, it's just, and I mean that's kind of why Hogak works so well. I mean, obviously they like their bridge, but Hogak can still work.
He's not going anywhere. He'll still be around.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like this card could easily be fixed. Like if you banned it and like created one that said like discard 2 cards, then draw 2 cards, and no flashback, fine.
Yeah.
If you made this an actual like looting effect, yeah. I mean,
or maybe it was draw 1, discard 1.
Yeah.
Like that would be a little like a lot more fair. Put it, basically you're getting 3 cards in your graveyard because you're pitching 2 that you get to select, and then you pitch the actual card itself. So yeah, I just think it's too much.
Yeah, need to go. And again, and just as I said before, the decks you're playing against that use this card usually are solitaire decks, and they're just kind of miserable. They're miserable content to watch. They're miserable to play against. I mean, and they're really not even that fun to play. I put Dredge together for a while because it was winning a couple months, a couple years ago. Man, I'm getting old. And I played it for like 6 weeks. I'm like, why am I playing this? I'm winning, but it's boring. So.
Yeah, and yeah, it's same. I'm not sold on it. I think it needs to go. So my pick is probably because I've lost to this deck so much. And it is Mox Opal. It's 0 mana for a mana rock, and it taps for mana as long as you have 3 artifacts. Well, it turns out in decks like lots of decks, Affinity being the chief offender in my case, you hit 3 artifacts like it's nothing, and yeah, so this just accelerates decks super quick. I think it's just it makes those decks too fast.
No, I completely agree. Wizards has gotten better with Moxen. Like the Mox Amber and Mox whatever the newest one is from Modern Horizons, they're 100% fair and actually really not that great, but all the other ones have been way too powerful, and they've all been banned in like every format. So it's time for this one to go too.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those problems, right, where it's like ancestral recall is just straight up too powerful of a card, but then you go to like divination and it's like, it's basically the same thing, but it's fairly costed, and then all of a sudden it's not worth playing. So
because I mean it's the speed of it.
Yeah, and
so, like that's the biggest thing. Like so I bought some of the Mox the Modern Horizon Moxes. I'm gonna forget the name. And I'm like, well, these will actually be really good in Commander. And then I actually put them in a Commander deck and kind of Goldfish, and I'm like, this is awful in everything.
Yeah, and like I said, it's either it's so good and everybody would play it if they had the opportunity to, or it's so bad that you're just never going to see it.
Yeah,
unless you have like some sort of weird janky way to break it. But
like why do we get this and not Chrome Mox then?
Yeah,
at least in Chrome Mox you have to like exile a card.
Yeah, and that
there's at least a penalty to it.
Yeah, that does make it a little bit more fair. So maybe if they ban Mox Opal and unban Chrome Mox, like
no.
I mean, I still wouldn't want that, but just like that would be the fairer version of the two.
They're both unfair. They both need to go.
Yeah,
one needs to stay gone, and one needs to be gone
forever.
Sorry, robots. I think you'll survive. You'll just take a nard shot for a while.
You know what's funny is like because of these graveyard decks that we've been talking about, it's like Affinity almost has been pushed out because it's like it's not fast enough to beat the graveyard decks.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still played. The Grixis Urza is playing it right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it doesn't see play.
And then it sees playing War Prison, I think, and a few others.
Yeah,
I mean, it still sees a ton of play, and I mean, price wise, it's one of the biggest offenders in the format. Has it cracked 100?
I think so.
It's really close.
Yeah, believe me, I was trying to put Jorkadine back together, and when I saw how much Mox Opal was, I was like, oh well, I'm not.
They're essentially $100.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to add that card back in the deck. I don't think, at least not anytime soon. So let's move on to Legacy. Legacy has.
Whoa! Hold on a second. Can we do the speed round of everything we'd ban?
Oh yeah, everything with Storm.
Everything with Storm got to go.
Yeah,
Stop beating around the bush. Just ban Storm.
yeah,
Manamorphose needs to go.
yeah. Manamorphose.
Ancient Stirrings needs to go. Sorry, Tron friends. The truth hurts.
It is a very powerful magic card. I will say that. I'm trying to think of anything that I mean, obviously we wouldn't take off any of the artifact lands, and there's a lot of like storm stuff on here. Mental Misstep needs to stay banned. Like there's a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, this is banned. This, we're glad this is gone.
Yeah, I think everything else for the most part is okay on the modern list right now. Like I think the ones we mentioned are the only ones that really need to go. I mean, I can see an argument for like Ensnaring Bridge, even though it doesn't really see much play right now.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
it's just a really annoying card. It just makes really bad gameplay, even though I play it.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest with yourself.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, so let's move on to Legacy then. So what would you unban?
I would unban Earthcraft. This card is no better than any of the other combo engines in Legacy. Why is it still on the ban list?
Yeah, and I mean you're not getting this out until turn 2, right? And then even then, when you put it out on turn 2, you have no creatures. So Earthcraft does 0.
So Earthcraft, because this is an old card, is an enchantment from Tempest actually. So it's 1 green and 1 for a enchantment that does tap and untap creature you control, untap target basic land. The big combo with this that a lot of people know about is Earthcraft and Squirrel's Nest. They and a forest, so you go infinite very quickly. But again, I mean, there's so many infinite combos in Legacy, and this one doesn't even go infinite until turn 2, turn 3. I mean, you can go infinite in Storm on turn 0.
Yeah.
You can Gristlebrand on turn 0 in Legacy. Why can't I Earthcraft? Why can't I have a Squirrel Army?
I agree, and the Squirrel Army of 1/1s that are gonna kill Emrakul.
Because they don't have haste.
Because they don't have haste. They don't have. It just. You're right. I don't see this being super because again, you would need like Concordant Crossroads or something like that to make this. Yeah. I mean, and that's still too slow.
It's no better than like Food Chain Griffin decks. I mean, I think it would see some play, but it would be fringe at most. I mean, the other card that was on the Legacy ban list for forever was like Black Vice, and everybody's like, you can't unban this. People are gonna like run the format with it. They unbanned it, and like literally not one person ever played it, and it's still unplayed in Legacy.
Yeah. Well.
So yeah, I mean, Earthcraft. I mean, it wouldn't see any play at all. I don't think. Or fringe play, or somebody like me who just wants to make a million squirrels.
Yeah, and again, we wouldn't be seeing it like at SCG events or anything like that. It would be very fringe at best.
Yeah.
So my pick for an unban is kind of a cheat, I think, because it's the only reason it's banned is because it's manual dexterity. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to read the oracle on this because,
and I'm going to totally disagree with you on this one.
Falling Star, 2 and a red, so it costs 3 mana. In Legacy, 3 mana is a billion. Is if you're waiting till turn 3 to do this, I don't know what. So you flip Falling Star onto a playing area from a height of at least 1 foot.
You just hate judges, don't you?
Falling Star deals 3 damage to each creature it lands on. Tap all creatures dealt damage by Falling Star. If Falling Star doesn't turn completely over at least once during the flip, it has no effect.
No. I own one of these, and it's very funny to play, like in super casual games or like in uncubed games. But can you imagine trying to play this in like, because if you unbanned a manual dexterity card, somebody would be a jerk and actually try to play it in a real tournament, and you would have to like have a judge come over and watch the guy play it from, what is it, a foot above the game board?
Yeah,
Like,
you'd have that rules lawyer that brings out a ruler.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
This
I think where this kind of goes and is the legacy ban list is actually pretty good.
Yeah, and this card
Like
also has a
there's really not much that would could come off.
this card has a 2.713 community rating on Gatherer.
Uh,
Yeah, but I mean, I just think it's funny, and I don't think it's fast enough or good enough to actually see play, except for that one idiot that's gonna do it, and it'd probably be me, honestly.
yeah. So to be somewhat serious, because Kody did a manual dexterity card, I think Mind Twist can probably come off. Mind Twist is like a kind of a worse version of him to Torok right now anyway. So
Yeah,
I think Mind Twist is fine. Um, Everything else is probably just needs to stay right where it is. Scrolling through real quick.
yeah, and I mean, there's some cards that are just obviously like Shahrazad, cards that are just, of course, like why would you ever play this? Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, everything else just stay right where you are.
yeah.
I don't know, Windfall, maybe. I could see an argument for that, just because it's 3 mana.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Uh,
I could see Windfall being okay. But yeah, like Imperial Seal, Gush,
yeah.
Jataxan Probe. A lot of these are just too good.
Imperial Seal was one that I kind of maybe, just because it's sorcery speed.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I
So
guess. Yeah. All right. So, where are we going next here? We're still in Legacy. So what card would you ban?
I want to ban Wasteland.
That's interesting.
And I love Wasteland. I really do. I think it's a great card, but Wasteland makes so many non-games in Legacy. If you got rid of Wasteland, I think the Legacy format would change tremendously for the better. So,
Yeah. No. I mean, in Wasteland, it just says tap, sacrifice, destroy target land.
yeah. No,
So
destroy not non-basic.
non-basic. You're right.
Yeah. So I mean, instead of Wasteland, we would see like Ghost Quarters in Legacy, which then people wouldn't be mana screwed,
Yeah,
but they
that's
wouldn't
true.
have their perfect mana. So, I think Wasteland could go, and I think people would kind of bitch and moan a little bit, or fish and moan a little bit.
Ha.
Yeah, there you go. But I think ultimately no one would really care at the end of the day.
Yeah, it would definitely smooth out the format a little bit. It would help keep people in their colors, like you said, and for decks like Merfolk, where it doesn't really matter, they
Yeah.
can, whatever. So the card I would ban is Reanimate, and I think it's a similar reason. So Reanimate is black for sorcery. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the
You
battlefield
mean
under your
Target
control.
Gristlebrand?
Yeah. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. Yeah, I just like Reanimator is a deck that can just have it, on turn 0, and it doesn't matter what you do. You just
Mhm.
oh, you have it. Okay, game 2.
Fun.
Like that. Yeah, that's it. Or good game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't mind combo decks, and I know games have to end at some point, but I just think that decks with that speed,
I want to be able to play a card.
yeah, exactly.
At least one.
Let me play my deck, and that would be fine. But yeah, so that's my reasoning. Anything else do you think should go?
I mean, I'll kind of agree with you on that. I can see Lion's Eye Diamond being one that could probably go, just because it enables so many turn 0 kills. Like if Lion's Eye Diamond didn't exist in the format, then we'd probably be like Storm would die off, which would be completely fine with me because I'm not a Storm fan on any format. So, I mean, other than that, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I'd say all that's fair. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not a big fan of Storm either in Legacy. But I mean, honestly, I'm kind of okay with most decks in Legacy. Like you said, the ban list seems pretty all inclusive, and I mean, because the last major ban was Deathrite Shaman,
Yeah.
and that was kind of one that everyone was like, okay,
It's
yeah,
time.
it was
It's
time.
time.
The one mana planeswalker that could,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, that's fair. Yeah, Deathrite Shaman needed to go. But I guess it did keep Wasteland in check, like, because
Yeah.
yeah. So that seems all fine to me. All right, and we are going to move on to the format that joined us in friendship.
The friendship format.
The
I will
friendship
agree with that.
format. And we're going to talk about Commander.
Can we get some Care Bears music in the background?
I'll make a mental note, or I'll actually write it down, because if I don't, I'll forget. But, while I'm grabbing a pen, what card would you like to have unbanned in Commander?
So I put two. One is a card I think could get unbanned and do absolutely nothing to the format, but I understand why it's on there, and that's Library of Alexandria. Now, this is kind of a pet card of mine. I don't own a copy, but I think it's a really cool ability. I think that it would be perfectly fine in Commander. In a format that has Soul Ring, if somebody has a turn one library can draw an extra card, then so be it. The reason it's on the ban list is that it's been on the ban list for so long, and Commander is such a popular format. I think they're about $850 to $1,000 right now per copy. If this thing went off the Commander ban list, it would jump to what, $3,000, $2,000 easily.
It would be a very expensive Magic card.
It would double or triple in price, mostly because it's a colorless card, so it could fit into every single deck. So,
and it's also one of those things that like you said, it would jump in price, and we've discussed before on this. And actually, when Corbin came by on the stream, we discussed that Magic or Wizards can't really acknowledge the secondary market, but they have to acknowledge it. Like they can't.
Well, but the Commander ban list is done by the Rules Committee, not Wizards, and the Rules Committee has pretty much said that some of the cards are on there because of price.
But you can't
unavailability.
You can't expect with Wizards' investment in the Commander precons that they don't have some sort of say in.
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. It sounds like they don't though, but.
Well, in any case, Library of Alexandria, you're right. That one is already too expensive, and would triple, if not quadruple, in price.
Yeah. So the one that I'm actually gonna pick is Tellurian Academy. So I wanted to pick something that was a little off the beaten path on this one. Gaia's Cradle's legal. Sarah's Sanctum's legal. I mean, just unban Academy. Who cares? It's one of those things. Let the format police itself on this one. I understand that it's slightly more powerful than the other two. I mean, maybe there's an argument to be made that the Cradle and the Academy are on the exact same power level. But again, if you're gonna have one or the other two, then why not have this one?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's yeah. Like you said, the other two in that cycle are free and I mean, they're not cheap, but you're able to play them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why so
I mean, if you're going to be the guy who's going to play it, it turns into an arch enemy game immediately, and it should. I mean, but again, it's no different than somebody playing like an Urza deck right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd say
so the way I look at a lot of the banned and restricted cards, or not banned restricted, but banned cards in Commander is there's a few that absolutely need to be on that list. There's the rest of them I think should be unbanned and let play groups take care of themselves.
Yeah, like I mean, not to go too far ahead of it, but like one card I would definitely unban is like Coalition Victory. It's like, okay, you won by Coalition Victory.
Congrats.
Shuffle up and play another game. It's just like, okay, you did it. You did it, guy.
Yeah.
All right, we're done here, and just not play with them anymore or whatever. So the card that I would unban off of this list is a card that, like, I saw that it was on the list, and I was like, and I pulled it up, And I said, why is this banned? Because there's so many better cards that do this exact same thing that are legal and played in almost every commander deck in the colors. And it is Upheaval. It is a totally fair Magic card, and I just don't get it. So for people who don't know, Upheaval is 4 blue for a sorcery. Return all permanents to their owner's hands.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a what's the word?
Cyclonic Rift.
It's Cyclonic Rift, but it hits.
But it hits lands.
It hits you too.
But it hits lands. That's the biggest thing.
I guess. But I just mean like, and this is one of those things. It's like, okay, if you want to be that guy, but you have to get to 6 mana to do this, and it effectively sets you and everybody else you know back to the Stone Age.
Well, so I mean, here's the reasoning behind it, and I'll start with saying that I agree with you. I think it should be unbanned. I think it's fine, but the person who plays it taps 6 mana or has X amount of mana out, and whatever mana they didn't spend to put it into the Upheaval, they float, and then they could get a few permanents on the board faster as they replay a land, whereas everybody else has to kind of rebuild from scratch.
And then they play out their Mox Opal and their Mana Crypt, and then they have like 18 mana right after. Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
So, but again, I think that's fine. I really do, because if you want to be that guy, then you're that guy. If you want to play this card unfairly and make miserable games, people aren't going to want to play with you. Or you could just kind of play it fairly, screw yourself over too, and everybody has to kind of deal with the consequences.
If you have like a strictly worse commander deck, that there's no point to it. It's just that.
Yeah, like the way I look at commander bans is like, if it's a card that's strictly there that can never be played fairly, then it should probably go. If it can be played fairly, but it's on the ban list because people just won't play it fairly, then bring it back.
Yeah.
And let people police themselves.
Yep, I totally agree. What card would you ban in Commander?
I got 2 as well because I'm going to be that guy. For my CEDH peeps, Flash. Flash is too good. Flash is way too good.
Yeah.
I mean, Flash Hulk is just nutso.
Yeah, that's fair.
So. Yeah, so I'd ban Flash, and I'd the one I would really ban, that was Hermit Druid, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, Hermit Druid is 100% there to be degenerate and to just like not do anything nice for anybody, and just kind of the game ends. And he's so cheap and efficient, so I would get rid of Hermit Druid. I don't think he's doing anything positive for the format.
Hermit Druid. Has it's 1 and a green for a 1/1 with green. Tap, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a basic land. Put that card into your hand and put all your cards revealed this way in your graveyard.
So not one person is playing this to Manor Ramp.
To get 1 basic.
Yeah. What you're doing is you play no basics, you dump your whole library into your graveyard, and you do shenanigans until the whole board is dead, and it's too fast and too efficient. In a format where Vampiric Tutor and Imperial Seal and all those other tutors are available, again, it's just...
You can already go get the cards that you need.
Yeah. And again, I'm Mr. Don't ban anything, but again, I just can't see a way this card isn't played unfairly. So, yeah, I lock them up.
All right, and what was your other card?
Flash.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yeah,
you're good.
We already talked about it. I only have 1 because I'm being fair, and I'm going to totally just contradict myself because this whole time I've been saying, let people play cards. And if you want to be that person to just win the game on turn 0, then good. We'll shuffle up and, move on to the next game. But this card, I have a personal vendetta against because not only have I lost to this card in 1 commander league, but in 2 commander leagues at 2 different stores in the same week to the same person playing the same deck, and it is Tendrils of Corruption. It's 2 black for a sorcery. Target player loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. Storm. And nobody plays this card fairly. Like you're not going to see somebody go, play this, Tendrils you all for 8.
Can we just ban Storm out of Magic?
Yeah, let's just do it.
Like across every single format, any card with Storm in it is now banned.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I even want them to have like casual tabletop Magic ban list, and Storm is on there as well.
Yeah,
it's like anti cards and Storm cards.
It's like and all those conspiracies, like
you know what, conspiracies can be there for like Cube.
Yeah,
that's it. But Storm needs to go across the board.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about Vintage because neither of us are nearly familiar enough with Vintage to say it. But we also neglected to talk about Block Constructed.
Okay.
So what would you ban out of Mirrored and Block? No, don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Is there anything else you would ban out of Commander? How do you feel about Soul Ring? Because I think Soul Ring's fine.
I think Soul Ring's fine. It's one of those things that like. Okay, like so like Library of Alexandria, right? It's an $800 card or whatever it is now, and yeah, so like obviously not everybody's gonna have one, but guess what? If you've ever bought a Commander Precon deck, you have a Soul Ring.
Yeah, I mean, the argument is people are just so far ahead if they have a Soul Ring, but again, everybody has one in their deck. Everybody has the same odds of drawing it in their opening hand. And you know what? More often than not, the games I've played, especially because the people I play with are trying to play more fun games anyway, if you have a Soul Ring, it's not putting you so much further ahead than everybody else that you can't enjoy the game. Exactly. So I'm okay with those cards, some of the fast mana cards. I'm trying to think. What about Cyclonic Rift? How do you feel about that one?
I mean, it's one of those things. It's just everybody does it, you know. Like I guess I'm not very salty about it.
I'm right there with you. I don't hate it as much as other people seem to as well. Game's got to end, and usually Cyclonic Rift happens pretty late in the game. So then it's like, oh, okay, cool, you got it.
Yeah.
Anybody got a counterspell? No.
Yeah. No. Oh, all right. This is it.
This is it.
And then obviously there's cards that should obviously never come off the ban list, like Sway of the Stars and World Fire. You know, just cards that just
actually I think Worldfire is probably fine. Like Sway of the Stars too. I mean, it's 10 mana.
Yeah, but who's gonna be actually paying, you know, waiting 10 turns to Sway the Stars? You
know what? If you're gonna like go out of your way to make Sway, so Sway the Stars, because I mean, who even knows what the heck this card does? It's 2 blue and 8. Each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents he or she owns into her library, then draws 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7. I think that could be fun in a Commander game.
I suppose. Like
I don't have any problem with it. Like, so here's how I feel. Like like the power cards. I mean, if Soul Rings and all the other fast mans can be legal, if you got a Mox, play a Mox. I don't care. I mean, I'm totally cool with all that. Yeah. Braids is fine. Balance is another one of those, like, I mean, I know you can play it like really unfairly, but as long as you play it fairly, then it's fine. So let playgroups police themselves. But Coalition Victory, we talked about that. That can come off. That should be not on there anyway. Channel, stay right where you are.
Yeah.
Emrakul, stay right where you are. Any of the manual dexterity cards, Fast Bond stays. Gibson Gibbons probably fine. Gristlebrand, Caracas, stay right where you are. Leovold, I can go back and forth on.
Yeah, Leovold, I think maybe if they still had the band as a commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I know that was just needlessly confusing. So I agree that Leovold is kind of like, if you have access to it at all times, no.
Yeah. Limited resources is fine. I mean, limited resources, 1 white. When limited resources come into play, each player chooses 5 lands he or she controls and sacrifices the rest. Yeah, it's 1 for an enchantment. We have Armageddon.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and that's not the only destroy all land spell. Like,
yeah,
that's just the one that everybody, you know, sees as that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
the mirror, the panoptic mirror is probably okay. I can see bad things happening with that, but again, we have whatchamacallit, the Isochron Scepter, which does something very similar. Let's see, Prophet, just leave it off because people complain too much. Primetime needs to stay where it is.
Yeah, Primetime is too good. When you, especially with I mean, just there's a billion ways like Deadeye Navigator to just flicker it indefinitely, and
yeah,
it's too good.
I was playing EDH when Primetime was legal, and it was everybody played green because you had to play Primetime. So
yeah, that
and then
Primordial is
yeah,
good,
it just became a race to your Primetime.
Yeah.
Recurring Nightmare can come off, in my opinion. Rofalos can probably come off. Sundering Titan can definitely come off. Me, Sway the Stars can come off. Time Volt, stay right where you are. Probably Time Walk and Tinker, stay right where you are. Academy, I think, come off. Trade Seekers come off. Upheaval, Worldfire, Yawgmoth's Bargain can probably come off as well.
Oh, I could see why Trade Secrets would be kind of dumb to play against, though.
Yeah, so Trade Secrets is from the original Commander precon. It's 2 blue and 1. Target opponent draws 2 cards, then you draw up to 4 cards. Then that opponent may repeat this process anytime he or she chooses. So
seems good.
Yeah.
that could just be an endless loop where, you know, where 2 people have consecrated Sphinx out and they just endlessly draw cards for each other.
But it says opponent. So I mean, yes, you've now 2 people are super far ahead and the rest of the board is not, but who cares?
Then it becomes archenemy.
Yeah, then it becomes archenemy.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you just mill them out. So yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah. All right. I mean, looks like we've done a pretty exhaustive look there at Commander, because I mean we're both really passionate about Commander. We're really big into that format. So
I just want to play a lot of these cards desperately, and I want to play them in Commander. I want to play them fairly in Commander. Yeah,
and of course the other big unbanned that I think needs to happen is from
Chaos Orb. Mr. Manual Dexterity card.
It's from Masks Block Standard. Lynn Civvy, Defiant Hero.
Lynn Civvy stays right where she is in block.
You search your library for a rebel.
Too many rebels. Too many rebels.
Too many rebels. Rebels is slow, bad allies.
Darth Vader totally made that ban list right there.
and it also has Stoneforge Mystic ability. So you search for the rebel, and you can pay 3 to put the rebel from your graveyard on your library.
Bomb.
Yeah.
Rebel scum.
All right, so Matt, where can we find you on the internet?
Matthew Caudill 8. I'm on the Twitter every once in a while.
And I'm not Cody Smith on Twitter. Remember that you can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook as FishcastMTG. You can email us, fishcastmtg@gmail.com. If you have emailed me recently, I apologize that I haven't gotten back to you. There's a few emails that I do need to get to, and I am super sorry about that, because that is just me like looking at my phone and going right now. So I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point in the future. But our cover art was made by Tessa and Hunter Pruitt, and our logo and stream art was done by Ishton on Twitter, as well as our animated intro for all of our YouTube videos by Jake Boss MTG, who's now working with the Command Zone guys.
That's what's up.
Yeah, he went down.
That is what's up.
Yeah, he's like a legit Magic guy. Yeah, go Jake. Jake is awesome. Follow him on Twitter, Jake Boss MTG. If you like what we're doing here, please rate and subscribe in the Apple or Google Play podcast app stores, as well as find us on Patreon at patreon.com/fishcastmtg. Matt, this was a lot of fun.
This was. I hope people hit us up on Twitter. Tell us how awful we are. Make fun of you for manual dexterity cards. Make fun of me for being so liberal when it comes to my unbannings in Commander. But let us know what you guys think. What did we miss? What did we get right? What did we get wrong? I love to hear from you guys. That is the conversations I love to have on Twitter. So
we need to make those foreigner green cards go back to where they came from.
Too soon, buddy.
Too soon.
Too soon.
That part will probably be edited out.
I think so.
Well, thank you everybody for your time, and we will see you all next week.
Have a good night, everyone.